What's up everybody, welcome back to another episode of Disney History. Now if you're familiar with Walt Disney World, then you probably have heard of the Pop Century Resort. It's a very popular resort here at Walt Disney World, and it's themed to pop culture throughout the 20th century. Guests are able to stay at different decades separated throughout the resort. But when guests stay here, they're only able to stay at the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s decades. So why is the other half of the century not represented over here at the Pop Century Resort? Well, the other half of the century was supposed to be part of this resort, and it was supposed to be right across the lake. But it never happened, and it sat abandoned for almost 10 years. So today I'm going to be telling you guys all about the history of the Pop Century Resort, as well as the history of the abandoned legendary years portion of the Pop Century Resort.
The Magic Kingdom. This, of course, is the place that most clearly reflects the man Walt Disney.
Epcot Center, Walt Disney's greatest dream, is now a reality.
This is the Disney MGM Studios theme park at Walt Disney World in Florida.
Hello, I'm Michael Eisner, and I am proud to join all the animals and characters in welcoming you to Disney's Animal Kingdom.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
So first, let's go back and start at the very beginning. So in the 1990s, with the help of Disney CEO Michael Eisner, the company was making a conscious effort to get more guests to stay on Disney property while on their vacation. And the best way to do this is to build more resort hotels so people have no reason to leave. At the beginning of the 1990s, there were only 7 open hotels at Walt Disney World, and none of them were value resorts. And so Disney knew that they needed to build these value resorts to open up a whole new market for families to stay here at Walt Disney World. And that's exactly what they did when they opened the first value resorts at Walt Disney World, the All-Star Sports and the All-Star Music Resort in 1994. And then All-Star Movies eventually opened a few years after the other two. These resorts saw major success, and by seeing that many families were utilizing the value pricing, the company decided to add another value resort that would be bigger than all 3 resorts combined. And then so in 1999, Disney's Pop Century Resort went into development. It would feature 20 buildings and would open in 2 different phases. The classic years, which are the 50s through 90s, would open first. Then the legendary years, which were the 1900s to the 1940s, would open after. The classic years and the legendary years would be marketed as 2 separate resorts with 2 separate lobbies, kind of like how the Port Orleans is with Riverside and French Quarter. And these 2 would be separated by Hourglass Lake. And connecting the 2 resorts would be Generation Gap Bridge. And just like the All-Star Resorts, there would be large sculptures of different icons that were popular during the certain decade in which you were staying at. The classic years was set for its grand opening in December of 2000. But to allow for more time for construction to be complete, it was delayed until March of 2002, with all of Pop Century opening in 2003. But then in September of 2001, the events of 9/11 happened, and tourism and the economy took a big hit in Florida. And then Disney announced that the March 2002 opening of the classic years and the 2003 opening of the whole Pop Century had been canceled, and there was no new date in sight. At this time, the classic years buildings were almost complete, and the lobby and 1940s buildings of the legendary years were already built. As the country and the economy healed and tourism picked back up, the Pop Century opened as just the classic years in December of 2003. The legendary years were scheduled to open in 2007, but for now, all of the work had stopped. It just remained there across Hourglass Lake, abandoned. Many guests enjoyed the new Pop Century Resort, but some critics gave it harsh reviews because of the ghost hotel across the lake. Guests could actually use the Generation Gap Bridge and walk over towards where the Legendary Years Hotel was going to be, but they were met with a big fence at the end and a bunch of trees that were blocking their view. So fast forward a couple years in 2005, and Disney was using the All-Star Family Suites at the All-Star Music Resort to test to see if family suites would be successful at Walt Disney World. It turned out that there was success over at the All-Star Music, and rumors started to circulate that Disney was once again going to be opening the Legendary Years as family suites. But despite the rumors, it still sat there abandoned with no construction happening. And exactly where I'm standing right here, across the Pop Century Resort, the legendary years sat here abandoned for nearly 10 years. But finally, in May of 2010, Disney announced plans to build a whole new resort to take the place of what was going to be the legendary years. And it would be called the Art of Animation Resort. The Disney Imagineers actually got this name from the Disneyland attraction, the Art of Animation, which showcased the history of animation and how animated films were made. This brand new resort would showcase the popular movies The Lion King, Little Mermaid, Cars, and Finding Nemo. The Lion King, Cars, and Finding Nemo sections of the resort would be all family suites, just as the legendary resort was supposed to be. And the Little Mermaid section would be regular standard rooms. The main building, Animation Hall, which has the ink and paint shop, food court, and front desk, as well as some of the Little Mermaid section, are what was left over from the legendary years. The Art of Animation Resort is one of the most well-themed resorts here at Walt Disney World, and it is also one of the most popular. But it's pretty crazy to think about that in this very spot, the legendary years sat abandoned for almost 10 years. And right across from the 1950s over here at Pop Century, right over here is where the 1940s buildings would have been at the legendary years. That is the full history of the Pop Century and the abandoned legendary years, as well as the Art of Animation. So what do you guys think? Do you like the Art of Animation better, or would you have rather had the legendary years, the other half of the Pop Century? As for Pop Century, do you think it will ever get a retheme, or will it just stay the Pop Half Century? Let me know what you guys think about those two questions in the comments down below. Alright, that is gonna do it today for this Disney history video. Like always, thank you guys for watching. If you are new here, subscribe to the channel so you keep up with all the videos and the Disney history videos. I try to put out at least one Disney history video per week where I'm on location filming where it was. And if you like the video, go ahead and leave a like and share it with a friend as well. Also, go ahead and comment down below what you guys want me to record for the next Disney history videos. And follow my Instagram, it's going to be right here. It's at marcusq.mq. I'm going to be on there sharing with you guys what I'm going to be working on next. I appreciate all you guys for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video.